Hello, my name is Hannah Bucket. This is my final presentation for BUSI 343, Employee and Labor Relations. Professor Aaron Lockhart from Liberty University. Next slide. I'm going to be going over the grievance discussion case number 2, full consideration of seniority and ability. The question is, as the Human Resources Manager, develop a case for your contention that the selection of Mary Younger did not violate the contract. I will be approaching this as a human resources professional. Next slide. The main points that I'll be going over today are the presentation of the method that the manager used to determine the employee to be promoted, why the promotion was fair, the reasons why Mary Younger deserved to be promoted over Robert Elder, why it is important for teams to have a strong leader, and finally, that there was no contract violation in the promotion of Mary Younger. Next slide. So this case had a situation where the organization did not have a leader for their day shift. The employees made a request to management for a leader to be appointed for the day shift. The employees also submitted criteria to management on the kind of leader they would like. The job was posted and 2 candidates applied. The candidates were Mary Younger and Robert Elder. Robert had previously been a leader but stepped back in order to spend more time with his family. Robert had been with the organization longer than Mary. Mary was the more junior of the employees. However, she displayed management skills as well as employment skills that surpassed Robert Elder's qualifications. Sharon Murphy, the manager, interviewed both the candidates and asked them similar sets of questions. Ultimately, after interviewing both the candidates and after comparing it to the qualifications she and the employees were looking for, Sharon Murphy determined the best candidate was Mary Younger, even though Robert Elder was the senior employee. After Mary Younger was promoted, the collective bargaining agency filed a grievance against management because Robert Elder was not promoted. Next slide. An overview of my position on the issues. It's important for companies to have the right manager for the job. Having a strong manager who works well with the employees benefits the employees. It improves retention and overall satisfaction for the employees. And the manager did not violate the employment contract by promoting Mary Younger over Robert Elder. Next slide. Continued description of my position. Organizations must follow their promotion policies and procedures, or they open themselves up to contract violation. The manager, Sharon, used a merit-based method to select the candidate to be promoted. She didn't arbitrarily select Mary over Robert, and there was no favoritism involved. Mary had qualifications that Robert did not have. The company followed its prior criteria for selecting candidates for promotion, and they did not deviate from their normal procedure for selecting candidates. Next slide. The case for why the selection of Mary Younger did not violate the contract. Both employees were notified of the vacancy. Something that is very important for organizations to follow is making sure that employees are notified when there is a position available. Both Mary Younger and Robert Elder were interviewed fairly, and the manager followed the normal interview process. Seniority was taken into consideration. When an employee is being considered for promotion, there is a union clause that seniority needs to be taken into consideration. However, seniority does not have to be the only factor in determining who is promoted. In this situation, Mary Younger is more qualified for the job than Robert Elder, even though Robert is the senior employee. In the past, there had been some problems with Robert Elder's work performance. He had not done anything to cause him to be written up for it. However, when he was a leader in the past, he was not performing at the level that he should be performing at. Management does have rights to make decisions for the workforce and to ultimately make the decision that they believe is going to be the best for the employees. And historically, in this organization, this was not the first time a junior employee was promoted over a more senior employee. Next slide. So some research. Seniority is a common method of selecting those who will be promoted. But recently, there's been a decrease in the amount of promotions based solely on seniority. That was done by Phelan and Lin in their research. Instances where employees have not followed procedures and then are not promoted tend to be protected. So there have been multiple times where an employee hasn't followed a procedure, and even though they were the senior employee, when they weren't promoted, it was protected, which is the reason why I believe this is protected and not a violation of the union contract. Researchers for the African Journal of Business Management say that arbitrators tend to tread warily in this area. There may be many reasons for preferring one employee to another apart from qualifications and experience. In this situation, as well as in other situations, there was significant reasons why Mary should be promoted above Robert based on the skills that she brought that Robert did not have. If this was a Title VII discrimination case, then the organization would be in trouble. Title VII protects against discrimination based on race, color, creed, national origin, and sex. However, this was not a discrimination case. Mary was promoted over Robert, not based on any kind of discrimination, but simply because she was the best candidate for the position. Next slide. As an HR professional, my plan of action would be to first interview the manager, Sharon Murphy, and find out what interview process she used and the criteria she used to determine the promotions. I would review records of prior promotions and ensure that they were in line with the promotion of Mary Younger. I would review personnel records for Mary Younger and Robert Elder and look to see if there was any discrepancies. Then I would schedule a grievance meeting with the employee, Robert Elder, and he would be allowed to have a union representative as well as another team member in attendance. At the grievance meeting, I would consider any new facts presented and look to see if I needed to revise my case. Then I would come to a conclusion and explain the reasons why the grievance was not upheld in writing. Then I would allow time for any appeal that Robert Elder might move forward with. Next slide. In conclusion, Robert Elder was the more senior, but he was not the most qualified employee for the leader position. Mary Younger, however, was fairly promoted based on her qualifications, skills, and leadership skills. She was the most suited person to be promoted. Manager Sharon Murphy did not deviate from the normal interview process. Both candidates were fairly informed and received fair interviews. They were evaluated against the same criteria. Based on the information and based on the way that the promotion was done, I do not see that the contract was violated in any way. Next slide. Here's a list of my references. Thank you. Have a good day.